Welcome to the Dog Nerd Show, where we geek out over our best friends. I'm Megan.
And I'm Michael, and this is a show about all things dog.
Hey, everybody. It is so good to see you today and to be joined with you. Today, we are going to be talking about the standard poodle, and we're so excited about this interview, and we learned a lot about the standard poodle when we were doing some research.
A lot of surprising information coming through about the poodle.
Yeah, so it is the national dog of France, but actually did not originate in France. So what I learned was that first of all, there's no standard poodle, there's no French poodle.
Right.
There is a standard poodle because that's why we're here today. And so there's no French poodle. The French actually call the poodle caniche, which means duck dog. But what I didn't know was that poodle means puddle in German, and that the breed originated in Germany and has been a retrieving water dog for over 400 years. So I found that to be interesting.
It is very interesting. Now, there is some debate among different groups and organizations. I know that the American Kennel Club, the British Kennel Club, and the Canadian Kennel Club, they all say that the dog originated from Germany, in that it is a gun dog and a waterfowl dog. And so that's very interesting because I always associated poodles with French.
Yep.
But there is an organization, and I'm going to butcher the name, but it's Fédération
Cynologique
Internationale. And they actually...
It would really be Fédération Cynologique Internationale.
Correct. But in Georgia, it's Federation of Clonologique International. So anyway, so they say the dog originated in France, and it is a version of the French Barbet. So, needless to say,
we're not here to argue with anyone.
Yeah. So
well, we don't know, but we found it to be very interesting, and I think a lot of us do associate poodles with France, and so that was very enlightening.
Even France does. It's the French national dog of France. So
yeah. So what we do know, I actually did know that they are very smart dogs. I thought they were the smartest breed, but I guess they're the second smartest breed. Very smart, very trainable, very active dogs. And of course, I did know that they are not big shedders, but I love this interview. We've got Jen and Pharaby. And when we interviewed them over the fall, Pharaby was just 5 months old. So just a pup with a lot of energy, but such a fun interview.
Yeah. So I think we should go ahead and slip on into that interview, and please enjoy it. And we'll be right back.
All right, so I'm here with Jen and Pharaby, and Pharaby is a standard poodle, and she's only 5 months old. So let's talk about your journey so far with a standard poodle.
She's really smart, and she barks. That's the biggest drawback, I would say, is the barking.
Yeah.
But she was really easy to house train. I got her when she was 9.5 weeks old, and she was, I would say, completely house trained, as long as I would take her out like I was supposed to. By the time she was 12 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So super smart on that. I did have to watch for the signs.
Yeah.
You know, she would go stand at the front door, but she didn't say anything. So you had to know.
Yeah.
But still.
So she didn't bark when she needed to.
But now she does. Now she does. Yeah,
that's
she's
good.
learned to do that now. But before, she didn't. But I don't know, she's really smart. She has her advanced trick dog title already.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, she's super smart.
So poodles are supposed to be the smartest breed from what I understand.
Them and border collies are, I think, border collies, I think, are one.
Okay.
And poodles are number 2.
Okay.
So.
Well, we always joke that border collies can do calculus, so.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, does she shed?
No.
Okay.
That is not a myth, which I was thinking. I'm like, sure, there's gonna be fur everywhere, but no, there's no shedding.
That's a positive.
There will be some, like if I brush her, you know how much like you shed, like in your own hairbrush, about that much. So not much really. But
so easy to train.
Yes.
Definitely barks.
She does bark when she's excited. She doesn't just run around the house just barking for no reason.
Okay.
She doesn't bark at like the doorbell or anything like that.
Okay.
She barks if she hears something, like go bump in the night.
Yeah.
And she barks basically at other dogs that get her going.
Okay.
Because she wants to play.
Yeah. She's still playful. She's still a
so
puppy.
playful. And then the grooming. That's another thing. If you're considering a poodle, there's a lot of grooming involved. So I have to shave her face about every 10 days to keep it looking. You don't have to,
But
if you want it to have a smooth look, it's about every 10 days.
Okay.
Her feet, you do those about every 10 days because their hair doesn't quit growing.
Okay.
So it just
will
makes
grow
like makes like basically fuzzy socks. So she'll be slipping.
Yeah.
So
you have to keep up with that.
I have to keep up with that. And then poodles are known to get ear infections.
Okay.
So each poodle's different, but you have to actually either shave the hair right here, or some people do plucking. It depends on the dog. So you have to actually
see what they're
yeah.
of.
Well, and see what they actually need, because some dogs don't need their ears plucked.
Okay.
But some do. She does. So.
And do you do all of this yourself?
I do. I became a quick groomer. I had hairless dogs before, so.
That's right. She had Chinese
Yeah,
Crestas
I had Chinese
before.
Crestas before, so I figured, you know what?
And you got a poodle.
Yeah, I've got to learn to groom. So.
You just use like a clipper, like you would for like men's hair, or like electric clippers?
Yes, it's electric clippers. They are the wall. I can't remember which ones, but they're just the purple ones that all the groomers have.
Okay.
I looked on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know how you do.
Yep.
So just got what the
seems. I mean, even though she got riled up a minute ago, she seems very, very chill. Does she like to around the house? Does she like to kind of chill at the end of the day after she's had her exercise, or?
As long as she's had enough exercise, yeah. She usually gets really hyper in the morning, of course, because it's a brand new day, and it's so exciting. And then usually once in the afternoon, she gets really, really like, we've got to go either play, throw the ball,
do something. Because they're a working breed, right?
I don't know, honestly. But I know they require an hour of like for real exercise a day.
Okay.
Like,
so this is not like a lazy person's dog.
No. After we exercise and play and stuff though, she will snuggle. She's a good snuggler. She wants to be on me.
How big will she get?
They
range. Standards get pretty large.
Yeah, she's a smaller standard.
Okay.
So her mom was 38 pounds and her dad was about 50.
Okay.
But they range anywhere from 35 to like 80 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So just depending on, that's what breed standard is. So it's okay for them to be that big.
Yeah.
But she's a smaller one. So I think she'll probably be maybe 40-ish.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah. Now,
she's 24 right now, and she's 5 months. So we'll see.
Now, you got her from a reputable breeder, right?
Yes, I did.
We're very particular about making sure that everyone either rescues or finds a legitimate, good breeder.
Yes.
And tell us about some of the contractual obligations that you have.
Yeah. So, first off, it was a 25-page application to even get the dog.
Wow.
Which I was fine with that. No. I was fine with that because that just shows me they really want me to actually know, what we're doing and that I have experience. And then the other thing is I have to send them updates, weekly updates to let them know what the dog's actually doing.
Wow. Weekly updates.
Any type of food changes, anything like that, I have to let them know so they can advise me basically and make sure that they approve of it, which that's wonderful because I'm kind of a investigator on that anyway. I want to make sure. So anytime there's somebody who really wants to actually care for my dog and give me solid advice, then yes, please, let's have a conversation.
And so did you meet her mother and father?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Whenever I got there, they actually live on a farm up in a place called Rising Fawn, Georgia. So it's up kind of almost Chattanooga area.
Okay.
And yeah, whenever I got there, the mom and dad both came out to greet me. So that was awesome.
That's very important that you meet.
Yeah. And she had, she was one of 9 puppies.
Okay.
So yeah, there was a lot of babies, and yeah, it was a lot of fun though. But her mom really was friendly. Her dad was really friendly, and then they had a couple other poodles too.
Okay.
You know, that are for breeding and whatever. But the lady actually, all of them live in the house with her. She takes them on, I don't know if you want to call it hikes really, but she takes them to go do stuff.
Like excursions.
Yeah, like a lot of awesome stuff. And she kind of rotates with which dog gets to go. It's just, I think she has 6 adult poodles. So.
Are your pictures being taken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good girl. So, yeah, but they get to all go places. And she actually had taken the puppies, all the puppies got to go for car rides before.
Wow.
So they were very used to doing stuff.
Yeah. Very socialized.
Yeah, very socialized, very used to going for car rides and things. So that was important to me because I go a lot of places.
Yes.
And so she has to be okay with going.
Absolutely.
And so,
that kind of attention from those who bred her is very important. It's
right.
The difference between someone responsible and someone
and
that...
they actually do personality tests too. So I couldn't just pick one of 9. Like it wasn't like that. They actually, there's a system they use, I can't remember what it's called, but I looked it up because I'd never heard of it, and I was like, what is this, But it's actually some type of system where they test each puppy, they see which ones are suitable for what type of person.
Interesting.
And so part of the application process is, what do you want your dog for? What kind of activities do you do?
Gotcha.
They had certain ones. She actually donates, I think, 2 puppies a litter if she can, or more, to service dog stuff.
Yeah.
So Pharaby was not one of those because she's hyper. But I'm trying to train her for that type of stuff too. Sure. But the more docile personalities got to go to that.
Yes.
And yeah, so basically I was given a choice between 2 that fit my personality.
Okay.
And so Pharaby picked me whenever I got there. She actually ran up and started like jumping all over me. I'm like, okay, well, and I went after a boy, which was what was really funny. I went after the boy that I had kind of gotten matched with.
Yeah.
And then she picked me. I'm like, okay, well, nothing. So
well, that answers
that's perfect.
That,
yeah.
Anything, so you are a new poodle owner, but is there anything else that you think people need to know? I mean, the grooming is probably the biggest commitment, other than, the time.
The grooming, I would say, and they're so smart, so they want to do stuff. So you have to actually take time to do stuff with them.
Okay.
So you can't, she got, like I said, her trick titles, the first 3 trick titles. She got the first one at 13 weeks, and then 16 weeks, and then 20 weeks, I think. So, I mean, they want to do stuff.
Awesome.
They want to.
Cool.
So if you can't, it probably isn't the right one for you. But, the grooming will be the other thing.
Okay. Cool.
And the barking, but that's not
not typical.
And it's not typical. It's just, it depends on what dog you get.
Yeah.
That's not typical at all. It's just, some dogs do. I mean, it's just like with any dog.
Yes.
I mean, you can have a,
you go golden.
whatever. Yeah, you can have whatever, and it's gonna maybe do that. It just depends. But hers is
she's
from
only
hyper.
doing it, when she's excited. Well, thank you so much for talking to us about the standard poodle. This is Jen and Pharaby.
Yeah.
And Pharaby is an up-and-coming influencer, so look for her all over social media.
Yeah, so she is Pharaby_Fable on Instagram. So it's PHARABY _Fable.
Awesome. We will include that in the notes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Here.
Wow, what a fun interview that was, and such an active little puppy Pharaby is.
She was a mess. She was awesome. I loved it. I loved it. It was great.
You could see how food motivated she was, because when, if she started to get distracted by the other dogs, Mama had the treats ready, and she was definitely food motivated. And we had a lot of dogs out there. We were stationed in front of the dog park, and we had a rescue group next to us. So there was a lot for Pharaby to see.
Yeah, a lot of action going on. So What did we learn from that interview that we want to touch base on?
Well, one thing that I did not learn from that interview, but I learned in our research, which is interesting, is of course there's the standard poodle, which is what Pharaby is, and it's the largest version. The miniature and the toy, they all fit the same breed requirements. It's just the size difference. So everything about them should be the same except for the size.
Wow. That's interesting because, that changes with other dogs. I think maybe the Schnauzer might be one that's similar to that, but it's very interesting.
Yeah. So they're essentially just the same dog in different sizes. So that was interesting. Very social, funny, clownish. The grooming was interesting.
Yeah, it is. Why they have that funny haircut that you always see that you associate with poodles is very interesting as to why they have it. And why is that, Megan?
Yeah, so the hunters wanted the poodle, the hunting dog, to have range of motion while in the water, but also to keep vital areas warm. So that's why they have that kind of silly, goofy, interesting,
very
grooming.
purposeful, very purposeful,
which is great. Like who cares about how something looks if it achieves its purpose, right? And that's what was important, was to let those animals move freely in the water, but then keep their areas warm that needed to be warm. So those are called the little circular puffs are called pom-poms with an N at the end.
Oh, and so not pom-poms.
Not like a cheerleader's pom-poms, but pom-poms. Another thing that I thought was interesting, and Jen touched on the grooming, about how she, did her research and found clippers that that groomers use, and she's learned how to do it. The reason why, in the research, I found that like this dog is like off the charts for grooming. Like you are going to be spending a lot of time or money grooming a poodle. And so that makes sense that she decided to learn and purchase the tools herself, because she mentioned how you have to cut the paws real short because the hair just keeps growing.
Right. And it is hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, the face and everything. So that was something interesting, was that it is hair, not fur. And the hair just keeps growing, just like our hair keeps growing. So what I didn't know was that fur, like on our dogs, the fur grows to a point and then it falls out. And then new hair grows and then it falls out. That's why poodles aren't shedders like other breeds. That's why she said it, sheds as much as, you do when you're combing your hair. So I thought that was interesting.
Well, one other thing too, if I can interrupt about the coat, is that the curly coat that the poodle has is literally water repellent, and it acts like a wool jumper for the dog, and it keeps them warm and dry. So it's water resistant. So it's very interesting that shows its lineage as a waterfowl dog.
Yep. It had a purpose. I mean, every aspect had a purpose when they were breeding these dogs. So, just, interesting things like, according to the AKC, the poodle is the number 7 dog breed in popularity. So I don't know if that's standard, if that's a mix of standard, miniature, and toy, but that was interesting. I did find that they do need space because they are very active dogs. So they are, they're athletes. They're made to have a purpose, and they're large, and they have boundless energy, it seems. So that I think
I personally think that all the poodles I've ever known, and I've known a few with friends, they've always been very active and extremely smart and great problem solvers.
Yes.
They are dogs that if you don't know the answer, they'll probably figure it out for you. But they're very smart, very intelligent, and very active. And so that means you have to be sort of the same.
Yes, absolutely. This is not the dog to get if you like to lay around on the sofa. This is the dog to get if you like to go hiking and being outdoors and kayaking and, just a very active lifestyle. And I think one of the things that's interesting is, with Pharaby being already a trick dog at such a young age, is that shows that you can also give your dog stimulation through mental stimulation and teaching. I heard somebody say that this breed will make you look like a good trainer because you don't have to do things over and over and over again. They catch on very quickly. So I thought that was very interesting. And we did read that that's why they were used as circus animals in the past,
Yeah.
because of their trainability.
Yeah.
So some health issues, they do have, like Jen said, they have to worry about bloat and torsion. So, they've got to make sure that they're eating slowly. We did see that with the standard poodle, hip dysplasia is something that could be a problem. And then like a skin disorder that can cause the fur to fall out. So again, there are health issues and concerns. So that's where finding a reputable breeder who, and Jen went into detail about that. It sounds like she found a very reputable breeder, somebody that is going to test for all sorts of issues. Eyes, I think, need to be tested with this breed. So definitely make sure that you are getting your poodle, your standard poodle or other variety, from a reputable breeder or a rescue group. Health issues often come up when people are breeding and they don't really know what they're doing and they're not breeding the healthiest animals together. So that is something to consider. And then, I think they're not, even though Pharaby was barking because, she was excited and there was so much going on out there, they're apparently not very big barkers. They will alert you if someone comes to the door or they hear something, there's a sound, or they see a squirrel, but otherwise it sounds like they're not, overly barky.
And that once again probably comes from their hunting background, because hunting dogs usually aren't big barkers for the most part, especially waterfowl dogs. So that's probably part of it.
Yeah. I don't know much about hunting myself, so I can't comment on that. But just looking over my notes here to see if there's anything else. Oh, well, of course, because they are water dogs, they're great swimmers.
Yeah, they have webbed feet. That's something I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
They have webbed feet, so like a lab would have. So
Yeah.
very interesting. They love water, by the way. Everything I've read in several places that I was reading and researching said they love water. So
can't keep them out of the water, huh?
yeah, yeah. The opposite of our Frenchie that we were talking about. Yeah, they're the opposite of that. So.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And then I did want to note that the Poodle Club of America Rescue Foundation is a United States rescue group for poodles. And if you go to their website, you can find poodle rescue groups throughout the United States. So that is Poodle Club of America Rescue Foundation.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, once again, great job on the interview, Megan. That was great. I think everybody's going to enjoy it. And I can't wait till our next one. So,
yeah.
But in the meantime, tell people where they can find us.
So you can find us everywhere online at Dog Nerd Show. And please just share with everyone, like, comment, subscribe to our channel. We really want to help people make the best decisions when it comes to their pets and educate people about all the different breeds of dogs. And yeah.
And if you have a question about a dog or a dog breed, please put that down in the comments or send us an email and let us know. We'll be more than happy to take a look at it and address it. And, we really appreciate you tuning in. And, these are things we do. We do these shows because we love dogs, and it's just exciting for us. So thank you so much.
Yeah. And one other thing I wanted to mention is that if you would like to be interviewed with your breed, definitely send us an email to dognerdshow@gmail.com, and we can always do it over Zoom. So I think everyone's gotten used to Zoom, and we could do a virtual interview with you and your pup. So drop us a line.
That's great. Well, until next time, guys, thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.